Welcome to Reef Diary, day 15. So we have some good news and we have some not so good news today. We'll start off with the good. So I did the water change last night. I went ahead and changed 150 gallons on the tank. All I did was pump water out of the display down to the top of the Vortec pumps, and I removed water from the skimmer section and return zone, and I refilled it. The salinity, the alkalinity, the temperature was all the same. Tank was, and then when the return pump came back on, it shot the water in through these conductors, and it was very dramatic. So I'm going to get to that in a moment. But I slowed the flow of the return pump to make it go in less intensely until the tank was filled up again, which didn't take that long. And then it was a matter of getting the protein skimmer under control, because after treating the tank with something to kill cyanobacteria, protein skimmers tend to just want to overflow like volcanoes, and everyone always says it takes forever to correct it. I've always told everyone that it takes about 6 hours. And last night I was able to get it corrected and back under normal conditions in about 2.5 hours. How did I do it? All I did was let the collection cup drain as much water as it wanted to drain into bucket after bucket after bucket after bucket. And I used 2-gallon buckets because they're easier to carry rather than a 5-gallon bucket, and I made a lot of trips to the toilet to dump out this watery skimmade. And in essence, I changed another 50 gallons of water with what drained out of the skimmer from a 450-gallon liquid volume system. That's a lot, but not unheard of. And so I actually did a total of a 200-gallon water change on the tank. I did my water test today to see where everything is. Alkalinity is 9.5. Nitrates are 15 ppm according to API, and they're kind of floating around that range, maybe 15 or 20 on the ELOS test kit, which I can finally use. Calcium was around 420, magnesium was 1350, so it's a little bit lower than I'm used to because of a monster water change. Salinity was 1.026, water temperature is 78.7, pH was 8.3. I mean, these are all good numbers. So what's the bad news, you're asking? Well, today when I got up and walked in to look at the tank when the lights came on, I discovered the Crown Royal, the purple tang, had died. And I was shocked. I've had that fish since 2004, so that is 17 years that she's been with me. She came into the tank. Well, I got her with Spock. They've been buddies forever, and she's gone. Now, how did she die? I don't know. I actually looked at yesterday's Reef Diary, and she's swimming around just fine, and she was eating at feeding time. So my guess, remember when I talked about the water shooting into the tank? I'm assuming that it scared her and gave her a heart attack because it was just such a sudden burst of water. I should have been better about that. One fish died out of 43, but it's still really hard to lose that fish because I've had her for so long. So that begs the question, and I know this is a little bit morbid, but what tang would you replace it with at this point? You know, what kind of other fish would you think of putting into the aquarium? Because I'm kind of debating what I want to do in the coming months. Now, others might say, well, the tang died because of treating the tank. No, it definitely didn't. Matter of fact, someone on Instagram asked me, don't you realize the oxygen levels drop? And my ORP continued to rise day after day after day with the protein skimmer off. So that's not the case at all. Protein skimmers don't add oxygen to the tank. People smarter than me had a discussion about this couple of years ago, and I was just reading it quietly, just a silent lurker, and I was like, I didn't know that. I saw those bubbles and assumed it was adding air. But all it does, a protein skimmer, collects waste, but it drives off CO2. It doesn't add more O2. It doesn't add more oxygen to the water. Never knew that until I read that, and I thought I knew. So oxygen levels were not a problem in the tank, and like I said, the purple tang was swimming around and eating and being completely normal the entire time. There was nothing weird going on. Every other fish, I've studied the tank top to bottom, no surprises. So I don't know why she died, but she's no longer here, and she's no longer going to be swimming in the background of these videos. So that's the end of today's Reef Diary.